Here we are, guys, in part 8 of this story. What if Naruto was being trained by Madara and Hashirama? Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. With Naruto. Naruto was eating some ramen at his favorite restaurant. Naruto, it's been a while, but you still eat enough that I don't have to worry about going out of business if you don't eat here every day. Chuki says to his favorite customer. You are so like your mother, it's scary. A voice says from behind them, revealing Jiraiya and Mikuru. Let's go, nephew, we got to find your godmother. Mikuru says. Ero Sennin, uncle. Naruto says in surprise. Come on Naruto, pay the nice man and let's go. Jiraiya says. Hi. Naruto places the money for his meal, then runs off after his uncle and perverted sensei. Ha. Ero Sennin, he's may have gotten maturity and lessons in respect from Madara, Hashirama, Mito and the others, but he is still like Kushina when it comes to Jiraiya. Mikuru smiles with nostalgia. With Makoto 2 hours later, Makoto was sitting at the table in a diner across from Hikari, and they were both sipping coffee until a familiar chakra enters Makoto's sensory range. This chakra. Makoto thinks shocked. Why is he here? Makoto suddenly gets up. Makoto, what's wrong? Hikari asks. I have to go, there's something I need to take care of, I'll be back. Makoto shunshin away before Hikari can say anything. With Asuma and Kurenai. You know these people, Itachi-san? Kisame asks, then he reaches for his straw hat that he wore. Then I should introduce myself, too. Kisame takes his hat off, revealing blue skin with gill-like slits. Kisame Hoshigaki, a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You're not making any acquaintances here. I'm going to eliminate you two right here, right now. Asuma says. Itachi-san, it seems you're hated in this village. I also know you. Kurenai says. Kisame Hoshigaki, former hidden mist shinobi. You're a renegade shinobi wanted by numerous countries, including Water Country for assassinating a feudal lord and sabotage, as well as various other crimes. You're S-rank missing nins in the bingo book. Asuma adds, Itachi, you've got some nerve coming back here after what you did. Asuma-san, Kurenai-san, please don't get involved with my work, I have no intention of killing you. Itachi says. That's not something that a guy who killed his own clan members can say. I know that you wouldn't come here, without a reason, so what is your purpose? Kisame grips the hilt of his sword and swings it, crashing the tip on the ground, raising up dust. This person is quite annoying. Kisame says. Shall I kill him? Kisame looks at Itachi. It looks like we cannot leave this village without a fight, but don't overdo your attacks, we don't want to attract too much attention. Itachi says. Then it's settled. Kisame lifts his blade and rests it on his shoulder. Then Itachi drops his hat and then Kisame swings his blade, which Asuma dodges, then pulls out his trench knives and blocks the second attack. Then Kurenai jumps back and makes the hand signs: dog right pointing arrow, snake right pointing arrow, monkey right pointing arrow, ox right pointing arrow, tiger. Then she vanishes in a similar way to mist. This is Genjutsu. Itachi's Sharingan flares as Kurenai vanish. Kisame was pressing his blade down on Asuma's arms, forcing it closer to his shoulder. He's overpowering me with a single hand and only the tip of the blade, what strength. Just then the tip of the sword touched Asuma's shoulder. My big blade, Samahata. Kisame says, then draws the blade across Asuma's shoulder and a ripping sound is heard from both flash and bandage. Doesn't slice, it shaves. Just then a ripple in the air passes Itachi and Kisame and suddenly they both can't move. You're late, Kurenai. Asuma smiles, then a tree springs up and binds Itachi in place, and then Kurenai emerges from the tree trunk, a kunai in her hand. This is it, she says, but Itachi smirks and suddenly Kurenai is the one bound to the tree and Itachi is standing freed. Genjutsu on that level won't work on me. This is a Genjutsu counter. Then Kurenai bites down on her lip, drawing blood, breaking the Genjutsu. Then Itachi rushes forward and swipes with the kunai and Kurenai ducks to avoid the attack. Then Itachi kicks her across the lake. Kurenai. Asuma cries. You shouldn't look away from me. Kisame says. That was exceptional, Kurenai-san, but. Itachi says. But it's over for you. A voice finishes from behind Itachi, revealing Kakashi. Suddenly Kisame charges Asuma, who dodges every slice, then throws a punch slice with his trench knives, but Kisame dodges, however his eyes widen in shock. What? Kisame calls out as a cut appears on his cheek, then he notices the chakras surround the tip of the blade and he starts making hand signs. Water style. Kisame starts, then he and a second voice finish. Water shark bomb jutsu, and two water sharks collide with each other. The same jutsu as mine. And why did you come here? Well, I asked you to finish them for me, but then she showed up saying something about unfinished business. Kakashi respond from behind Itachi and everyone notices Makoto standing there, her Sharingan activated. Kakashi Hataki, Makoto ka-san. Itachi says, turning to Kakashi. What could a rouge ninja like you possible want with our village? Kakashi says. Kakashi, it's been a while. Itachi says emotionlessly. His eyes are the same as before. But then again, he is the heir of the Sharingan. I will have to assume the worst case scenario. This is a surprise, no wonder you could do that with my technique. Kisame says. I wouldn't have believed someone had the same eyes as Itachi-san if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. Kisame glances over at Itachi. However, I thought that Itachi-san killed the entire clan. I never imagined he left one alive. Two alive actually, Kisame tem, and soon there will be one less 7 missed swordsmen in the world. Makoto says, drawing the sword that Kushina gave her as a birthday present. Forged from chakra metal and imbued with seals of the most advanced kind, it uses its seal to convert her chakra to wind and lighting based, which then would be spread out to different parts, amplifying its cutting as well as piercing power. Legend had it that this sword could even slice through the legendary Yata mirror itself. Makoto Uchiha, mother to Itachi-san and Sasuke, wife of the late Fugaku Uchiha. Kisame says when suddenly he is forced to dodge a swipe of the blade that came so fast only his reflexes kept his head on his shoulders. I'm the one who is surprised. I saw two weird guys at the tea house and I wondered who they could be. And they turned out to be Itachi Uchiha. And the monster from the hidden mist village, Kisame Hoshigaki. Kakashi says. My, you know my name too, I'm honored. Kisame prepares to attack Makoto, but Itachi turns to him. Stop, Kisame, if you fight my mother head on you will suffer unnecessary injuries or worse, death. Itachi says. That sword is said to rival even Kusanagi. It is said that sword could cut through anything. It was forged by Kushina and then imbued with the most advanced seals she knew. There are only 3 swords I know that can rival that one. The first was the blade of my old sensei, C.J. Zaraki Kenpachi. The second was its brother wielded by Kushina Uzumaki herself. The third is Kusanagi wielded by Orochimaru. Kisami's eyes shrink in shock and fear. Kushina Uzumaki was feared even by the 7 mist swordsmen as the scariest woman to date. Kisame and his sword brothers knew better than clash with the Red Death, and now he stood facing that feared sword's twin. Also, if we take too much time, more ninjas will arrive. But do not forget our purpose. We didn't come here to injure ourselves. Then tell us that purpose of yours. Kakashi says. We just came here to find something we're looking for. Something you're looking for, and what would that be? Kakashi draws a kunai. I won't take as long as Kisame if I do this. Itachi draws out 4 shuriken and Kakashi jumps back, forming hand signs. Water style. Water wall. The water around Kakashi rises up, forming a protective wall as water drills shoot at him. Quote, he used the technique so fast, I couldn't follow the seal formations with my eyes. He used those shuriken in his right hand as a distraction and tried to hit my legs with a water-style attack. Very nice, Kakashi-san. Your eye of insight is impressive. Just then a kunai stabs into Kakashi's back, revealing a second Itachi. A shadow clone. He uses his techniques too fast. Kurenai says. Just then Kakashi dissolves into water. A water clone. Kisame says, shocked. A mere copy ninja can use this many techniques from our village. Impressive. Kakashi is then seen under the water handing a kunai to Kurenai, who grabs it. Nice, Kakashi. Just then Kakashi leaps out of the water, grabbing Kurenai and leaping away from the Itachi in front of her. Get back, Kurenai. Kakashi says. This one's the shadow clone. Itachi whispers in her ear. Just then, Itachi explodes in a huge torrent of water. Kakashi. Kurenai. Asuma yells, then leaps into the air. He blew up his own shadow clone. Naruto was walking down the road wondering if he could practice any techniques on the go. Just then Kurama decided to check in on Naruto's thoughts and found out while answering. Why not practice with my chakra? After all, you can only control 2 tails of my power before losing it. Kurama says. Okay, Ni-san. Naruto says. The water was exploding ever and drenching everyone. Kakashi. Kurenai says in fear. Don't let your guard down for even a second. He was Anbu captain as 13. Kakashi says. I didn't expect him to be so strong. Asuma says, no, he hasn't shown his true strength yet. This is bad. Does Itachi plan to use the Mangekyo Sharingan, because if he does only I have the power to resist Tsukuyomi. Makoto thinks looking at her companions. I'm impressed that you can use your Sharingan so well even though you are not part of the Uchiha clan. Itachi says. But your body is not an Uchiha body, which the eye needs to work best. He's right. I tire easily. Kakashi thinks. Itachi closes his eyes. I will show you why the Uchiha clan was feared and reputed to be unmatched. Shit, I was right, he intends to use Tsukuyomi. Makoto thinks. Everyone close your eyes and whatever happens don't open them. Makoto shouts. Locking eyes with Itachi is now fatal. Instantly Kurenai, Asuma and Kakashi all shut their eyes, but Kakashi keeps his Sharingan eye open, then Itachi opens his eyes. I will show you the Sharingan and the Kekkei Genkai's true power. Only a person with Sharingan can deal with his technique right now. Kakashi says. It's true that if you have Sharingan, you can resist this Mangekyo Sharingan a little, however, you cannot counter this special Sharingan eye technique. The Genjutsu Tsukuyomi. Only a person who have the same Kekkei Genkai as me, a Sharingan user, can defeat me. Then Itachi locks eyes with Kakashi's regular Sharingan and the world around him turns inverted colored and next thing Kakashi knows he is strapped to a cross with his arms and legs restrained. How long can a person like you, who doesn't possess the Kekkei Genkai, deal with this? Itachi's voice echoes even though only one stand before Kakashi and he is holding a sword. Itachi's Tsukuyomi goes exactly as canon. Kakashi drops to his knees and starts panting. What's wrong, Kakashi? Kurenai asks. Makoto-sama, should we still keep our eyes closed? Not yet. Don't open them yet. Kakashi says, what is going on? You suddenly fell down after he stopped talking. Asuma asks. 3 days in that world is less than a second in the real world. Is that what Naruto put Haku through after she nearly killed Sasuke? But why did he not kill me? He could have if he tried. Just then Kisame appeared next to Itachi. Oh, you didn't experience a mental collapse after going through that. Kisame says. But Itachi-san, it's dangerous to use those eyes too much. Itachi doesn't respond to his partner's comment. Is Sasuke what you're looking for? Kakashi asks. No, we're after the 4th Hokage's legacy. Itachi says, his eyes straining to stay open. Kami damned eyes stay open, dang it. Kurenai and Asuma reel back in shock, eyes still closed. What are they? Kurenai trails off. Naruto. Kakashi thinks as he remembers what Jiraiya told him just before the invasion. Are you after the Ninetales inside of Naruto? Kakashi asks. I know that you two aren't the only ones who are moving around. The name of your organization was Akatsuki, was it? Kakashi finishes. Akatsuki? Asuma asks confused. Kisame, we're going to take Kakashi-san. Itachi says. Let's have the other two disappear. What about your mother? Not even I dare raise a hand against her, plus she is a lightning-style shinobi, your weakness. After Itachi finishes, Kisame rushes in ready to take out. Just then a shout rings out. Severe leaf hurricane. And Guy appears kicking Kisame back away from Kakashi. Kisame slides back and rights himself at Itachi's feet. Who the hell are you? Kisame shouts. The Leaf Village's fiercest beast of battle, Might Guy. Guy responds. Look at yourself before you speak. Perhaps you meant to say mighty stupid looking guy. Do not underestimate him. Itachi says. Just as I thought. It's Itachi. Just then Itachi collapses unconscious and starts sinking underwater and Guy walks over and picks up Kakashi and slings him over his shoulder. He hurt Kakashi this much. Don't look into Itachi's eyes, Guy. You're going to fall into his technique. Asuma says. I know that already. Guy responds. In the measures I developed to fight Kakashi, I took into consideration how to counter his Sharingan. Open your eyes, you two. Guy, are you nuts? Makoto yells, her hair flaring like Kushina when she is pissed. When fighting a Sharingan user, you just don't have to look into their eyes. Keep your eyes on their feet, predict their movement, and counter accordingly. Guy continues. Now that you mention it, that seems logical. Kurenai says. But you're about the only guy who can do that. Asuma continues. Right. Guy responds, standing up, Kakashi still slung over his shoulder. There's a trick you have to learn to grasp an enemy's moves from his foot movement alone, but we have no other choice in this emergency. Anyway, Get used to it, now. What should we do? Asuma asks. Kurenai take Kakashi to the medic squad. Guy hands Kakashi to Kurenai. Asuma back me up. Okay. Asuma says looking at Guy. Now, until the Anbu reinforcements that I arranged for arrive, we fight them. Interesting. You're quite daring. Kisame says lifting his sword up. Kisame. Itachi says. We're going to stop. We didn't come here to start a war. Itachi continues. Unfortunately, fighting anymore is nonsense, we're leaving. I was just starting to get excited. Kisame says lowering his guard. Very well. Then both Itachi and Kisame disappear. Naruto was activating a seal on his armor as he predicted a lot of temperature change in this trip. Alright, if you're ready Naruto, let's go. Mikuru says. Then the three of them start walking off. After about a day of travel, Naruto remembers what his plans for the travel trip. Uncle Mikuru, on a scale of 1 to 10 how good are you at dealing with a tailed beast rampage? Naruto asks. Why do you ask? Mikuru asks apprehensively. Cause I want to learn to control more of Kurama's power, and as of right now I can only control up to the second tail. Oh boy. Mikuru thinks concerned. Well, without any jutsu enhancement I would place myself around about a 4.5 give or take. With my mightiest jutsu enhancement I'm a flat 7 inches. You could ask us for help. Madara says. Yay, but then that would end badly. Naruto responds. True, that would end very badly if news got out that you had a sealed inside of you. Hashirama says. Maybe you should have thought about that before you announced it to the entire village when you visited the funeral of late 3rd Hokage. Kurama says offhandedly. Crud. Hashirama and Madara respond simultaneously. Well then I guess you guys could help. Naruto says. Naruto. Jiraiya says. What do you want, Ero Sennin? Naruto responds. Ero Sennin, Ero Sennin. You don't know that I'm a great person, do you? What? A great Ero Sennin? Ah. Jiraiya sighs. Listen carefully. Jiraiya walks up to the bridge they were crossing. Oh boy, here we go. Mikuru thinks, face palming. Jiraiya starts his little dance thing. The title, Toad Sage, is merely a disguise. I shall tell you my true identity. I am the man who has no enemies in the north, south, east, and west. Not even in the heavens. I am one of the Sannin, white-haired frog tamer. Even a crying baby would stare in awe. The great Jiraiya. That is me. Jiraiya finishes his dance. Mikuru starts banging his head against one of the nearby trees. Must he make those insipid flashy entrances? Jiraiya, I don't think Madara would be happy if he knew you were stealing his unnecessarily complicated, flashy entries. Naruto says. Oi. Madara yells. He's got a point, Madara. Hashirama snickers. Shut it, Senju. Madara yells. Now there's the Madara I remember. Hashirama starts laughing. I will kill you. Madara yells again. Will you both shut up? Kurama roared. What's got your tails in a twist? Naruto asks. I've got an fucking hangover and believe me it sucks. Kurama responds. I didn't know tailed beast could get hangovers. Hashirama says, surprised. Just keep the arguing to a minimum, and if I hear so much as one yell from any of you, I will rip you apart. And with that Kurama grows silent. The group continued walking forward towards Atofika City. If Naruto hadn't been busy contemplating how he was going to learn to control Kurama's chakra, he would have sensed 2 high chakra levels moving to a different location just outside his sensory range. Do you think he sensed us, Itachi-san? Kisame asks. No, I don't think he did, but we have to stay at least 30 meters away at all times or risk being sensed. But what about the Yondaim's brother? Kisame asks. To my knowledge from working with him, Drago is not a sensory type. Right now Jiraiya is the main concern. If either of us fight him we would die. Yea, compared to a Sannin, the Uchiha clan and 7 swordsmen of the mist seem insignificant. Yea, but even the strongest opponent has a weakness. Itachi says, standing up. Naruto and the others were walking towards town when Naruto turned to Jiraiya with a burning question. Hey Ero Sennin, I have to ask you something honestly. What would that be, Naruto? Do you think that I would stand a chance against you in an all-out fight? Well, that's hard to say. In Sage mode you managed to scare the crap of me with that combination wind and fire jutsu, but it's hard to say how you would do. I mean, you do have the Rinnegan. So on a scale of 1 to 10 how would I do against you? I'd say around a 5.5, and with some generous rounding. That bad huh? Yay Naruto, why don't we have an all-out spar in your mindscape or in Tsukuyomi, that way no damage is done. Alright Ero Sennin, but we need to find a place to rest first so our physical bodies can still remain unharmed. Alright Gaki, there is a clearing just up ahead. Mikaru, can we trust you to watch our physical bodies? You can count on me. Ero Sennin. Mikaru snickers. Just great, first Kushina, then the kid, and now you. Why does nobody respect the great Jiraiya? Jiraiya cries anime tears. When Naruto, Jiraiya and Mikaru stop in the clearing, Naruto activates his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and looks into Jiraiya's eyes. Jiraiya was standing in front of Naruto, then bites his thumb and summons, and Fukusaku and Shima appear on Jiraiya's shoulders. Jiraiya boy, why have you summoned us? Fukusaku asks. Don't tell me you're entering Sage mode again. Shima says. Sorry Pa, I'm fighting Naruto in an all-out spar, because Naruto wants to find out how strong he is against the full power of one of the Sannin. Alright, if you're sure Jiraiya boy, we'll help you. Fukusaku says. Ready Naruto? Jiraiya asks as he completes his Sage mode transformation. Yay Ero Sennin. Naruto charges and starts throwing punches and kicks at Jiraiya, who dodges them, then throws a high-speed kick which Naruto barely avoids, but the impact wave sends him flying backwards. Quote, the hell, I could have sworn I dodged it. Naruto thinks as he flips back up. Naruto starts weaving hand signs. Earth style. Great Mud Typhoon. The ground around them erupts in a wave of hardened mud blats towards Jiraiya, who jumps in the air and spits a fireball at him. Naruto absorbs the technique with Petra Path, then he shifts to his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu. The black flames sprout from his eyes and Jiraiya's warning system tells him to dodge or it's lights out. Jiraiya starts attacking at full power and Naruto can't dodge and gets blasted. But he activates his Susanoo and weaves the hand signs necessary for heaven concealed, and the gigantic meteor falls towards Jiraiya, whose eye widen in shock. Then he performs the hand signs necessary for the summoning jutsu, and in a poof of smoke Gamaken appears. Jiraiya, why did you summon me? I'm kind of ungraceful. I know Ken-san, but only you can reflect a meteor of that size. Jiraiya replies. Alright Jiraiya. Gamaken reflects the meteor back at Naruto, whose eyes widen in shock. Almighty push. The meteor goes shooting into the sky and dissolves into nothingness. Nice work Naruto. Jiraiya charges and they engage in a long taijutsu which lasts 10 minutes, but eventually Jiraiya slams his fist into Naruto's stomach and he goes rocketing back. Damn it, I'm really going to have to step it up. Naruto thinks, then slams his hands together. Wood style. Deep forest emergence. The trees rocket towards Jiraiya and wrap around Jiraiya, binding him. Then Naruto makes the horse hand sign. Fire style. Great fire annihilation. Jiraiya's eyes widen in fear and he has to use a substitution jutsu. Naruto was getting serious and so was I. Thinks we're really heating up and I need to end things quick before one of us ends up killing the other. Not bad kid. I laugh. But you're going to have to train harder than that to defeat the mighty Jiraiya. Granted. Naruto responds and then slams his hands together and cries out. Wood-style deep forest bloom. Suddenly gigantic flowers rise up and start excreting pollen. If I were you Ero Sennin, I would take a big breath and hold it. This is bad. Either Naruto's stopped messing around or he's gone off the deep end. Either way, time for Gamabunta to make his appearance. I think then, biting my thumb, I perform the necessary hand signs for the summoning jutsu. Summoning jutsu. I slam my palm on the ground and Gamabunta emerges. What the hell Jiraiya? Gamabunta says. Why did you summon me? Sorry, Naruto's gone power crazy and he needs humbling. Now I need oil. Right. Gamabunta inhales and fires of a blast of oil and I exhale the fire blast. Fire style. Toad flame bombs. Suddenly a burst of smoke emerges and Kurama appears. What the? Gamabunta looks in shock at appearance of Kurama. Let's go Kurama. Naruto shouts. Right. Kurama raises his head and the chakra required for the tailed beast bomb arises and starts gathering while Naruto activates his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and coats Kurama with the Susanoo. The toad flame bomb passes right over Kurama, not even affecting him. Kurama. Fire. Right. Tailed beast bomb. Naruto and Kurama shout out together. The blast of chakra rockets towards me and Gamabunta has to dodge by jumping. Naruto, have you lost your mind? I shouted. Maybe. Naruto responds, then he starts coughing up blood and heaving. Naruto. I shout out and run towards him. The Susanoo fades from around Naruto and all caution thrown aside I approached Kurama and jumped on his head and approached my godson. Naruto, are you alright? I asked. Yes, I still haven't mastered Susanoo yet. Naruto responds, coughing up blood with every breath. Naruto, take it easy, you've proven your strength. Of all the Sannin I'm the only one who can use Sage mode. Tsunade has monster strength and Orochimaru I don't know about him. If you're that strong, then Orochimaru was only toying with me. Sure, he was afraid of my heaven-concealed technique, but I think that he could have killed me at any time. Alright Naruto, let's finish. I think you've learned the price of arrogance. Yes sensei, I'm done. Naruto ends the genjutsu and the world returns to normal. You alright Naruto? Mikuru asks. Yeah, I'm fine uncle, why? Naruto asks. You started shaking and your eyes started bleeding slightly, what happened? I tried to take Susanoo farther than I've ever taken it before and my eyes suffered for it, but I should be fine in a day or so. Alright Naruto, we'll head into the next town and from there I'll head out to gather some information on Tsunade's location. Jiraiya said. Mikuru, do whatever the hell you feel like, right? Mikuru nods as an evil grin appeared on his face for a split second as he spent the duration of the trip thinking of things to pull on Jiraiya. The three Junin were sitting in Kakashi's room waiting for him to wake up. Based on how they're acting, they haven't found Naruto yet. Guy said. Yay about that. Asuma responds. Isn't something funny? They were already in the village. Asuma pulls out a cigarette. It's easy to find Naruto in this village. Itachi also knows Naruto's face. Shish. Gaisei is here, hears the sound of walking footsteps. Just then the door opens with a Kakashi being heard from Sasuke, who entered, then stopped, seeing three conscious Junin and Kakashi sound asleep on the bed. Why is Kakashi asleep? Sasuke asks. And why are Junin gathered here? What happened? Nothing much happened. Guy replies. Just then more footsteps are heard and a random Junin burst in. Is it true that the Itachi came back? The Junin asks and all faces turn to him and Sasuke stands stock still. And, he's after Naruto. Just then the Junin notices Sasuke standing there. Guy facepalms himself and Kurenai closes her eyes. Idiot. Kurenai says. Sasuke's eyes widen into a look of pure rage, then he runs out the room. Why did things turn out like this? Guy says, annoyed that the Junin had ignored the most important shinobi rule. Think before you speak, dumbass. Sasuke was running out on the roof and jumping towards where Naruto lived, praying that he wasn't too late. He's back in the village, and he's after Naruto. Sasuke thinks confused. What's going on? Just then he arrives at the compound and remembers that it's locked with a blood seal. How do I get in? Sasuke thinks desperately. Just then Hinata walks up with cinnamon buns in her hand. Sasuke, what are you doing here? Hinata asks, confused. Is Naruto here? Sasuke asks frantically. No, Naruto-kun left with Jiraiya-sama and his uncle a few hours ago to go look for Tsunade-sama. Hinata replies. Sasuke breathes a sigh of relief. If he's with Jiraiya and his uncle, then he should be safe. Sasuke, is something wrong? Hinata asks. Itachi's returned and he's after Naruto. The Akatsuki. Hinata says in fear. Sasuke's eyes widen in fear as he remembers what Naruto told him. Yes, the Akatsuki is an organization of S-ranked criminals that are after the Jinchuriki for some damn reason. S-ranked criminals, that's bad, right? Yay, last time I checked the bingo books your brother was an S-ranked missing nin. Sasuke's hand clench at the mention of his brother as he remembers the events of that fateful night. So you have basically a bunch of Itachi running after you. Yay, though they will have to capture me last. How can you be so sure? Sasuke looks confused. I hold the 9 tails. If they want all 9 Biju, they must capture me last, or whatever they want to capture me and my brethren and will explode from the Kyuubi's power. Oh. Sasuke looks at Naruto as a thought strikes his head. Then they won't come for you for a long time. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Naruto looks around with his Rinnegan. What do you mean? I am not 100% sure just how many they have captured. For all I know, they already have the other Jinchuriki. Shit. Sasuke curse, then runs out towards the village gate, only stopping to tell him his purpose, and they let him through to go chase down Itachi and finally end his nightmare. Jiraiya, Mikuru and Naruto were walking through town and Naruto saw people walking around buying and selling things. What a strange city. Naruto said. Suddenly a strange and familiar chill runs down his spine. Do you feel that, Naruto? Madara asks. Yea, there's a dark presence in this city, whoever it is they aren't within my sensory range. If they're after you then they might know about your sensory abilities and are tailing you while staying out of your range. 10 minutes later the group of 3 had arrived at a hotel where they intended to stay for the night. Just then a very pretty lady walked in front of the hotel and looked at Jiraiya, who got his lecherous grin on his face. Naruto, Mikuru. Jiraiya says, handing them the key. You two head up to the room, practice whatever you can and then go to sleep, okay? Jiraiya says. Something isn't right here. Mikuru thinks. I think it's a distraction, but hopefully I can fight whoever it is. Hi Ero Senin. Naruto says, and he and Mikuru walk up to the room. After a few hours Naruto was sitting on the bed gathering Kurama's chakra, trying to control the third tail, and Mikuru had a suppression tag prepared in case Naruto went crazy. This had happened several times and each time Naruto had nearly lost it, and each time he extended his control over Kurama's power increase by a single second, but Naruto wasn't satisfied until he could hold control for at least an hour. That was the time Kurama said it would take for control of a tail to be recognized. Sasuke was running around town asking for a boy by Naruto's description and Jiraiya's description. Eventually he reached an inn that had seen people by Naruto's description, and he ran up the stair toward the room the person had described, and he was just about to knock on the door. When it opened it revealed a kid that was not Naruto. Naruto had just finished training with Kurama's chakra and Mikuru had fallen asleep when Naruto heard a knock at the door. So he got dumped and is back already, damn pervert. Naruto says to himself, careful not to wake his uncle, when he stopped dead when he recognized a chakra signature outside the door. Naruto walked over when the knock came again. Itachi-san, why do we have to knock? I say we kick the door in and grab him. Kisame says. Just because we're after him doesn't mean we're going to abandon all tack, Kisame. Itachi replies, then he knock again and a reply is heard. Give me a second, damn pervert. Naruto's voice called out. Kisame stifles a laugh at Naruto's reply. Then the door opens and Naruto is standing there rubbing his eyes. What the hell do you want, Databane? Naruto, let's go for a walk. Itachi says. Sure, whatever, just let me grab my gun by inside and I'll be right out. Naruto closes the door. Okay, that was too easy. Kisame says. Something isn't right. Itachi thinks. He must have recognized me, or at least my chakra and voice. Did he really just wake up? Just then a voice from right behind them startles both Akatsuki members. Did you really think it would be that easy? Both Itachi and Kisame turn around to see Naruto standing there, gun by in one hand and scythe in the other. So you were prepared for us? Kisame says. Yay, I sensed you coming, morons. Now. Almighty push. The wave of gravity blasts outward, shooting Kisame and Itachi backwards. Then Naruto rushes in, swinging his scythe at Kisame with lightning chakra flowing through the blade, but Kisame swings Samahata, absorbing the chakra behind the attack. What? Naruto says, confused, jumping back, forming hand signs. Sorry kid, but Samahata can absorb chakra. Kisame smiles. That's so. Naruto smiles, forming the last hand sign. Water style. Water shockwave. The water shoots at Kisame. Nice try kid. Water style. Water shark bomb jutsu. Naruto jumps out of the way and runs in and throws his Hiraishin kunai at Kisame and warps behind him, slamming his knee into Kisame's kidney. Gonna piss red. Kisame thinks as he coughs up blood. Naruto turns to Itachi when suddenly Kisame grabs him from behind and throws him toward the end of the wall. How I kicked him enough to shatter organs, how did he get up? Naruto thinks, shocked. Sorry kid, but my Samahata allows me to heal from most injuries because of the chakra it gives me. Well then this will be fun. Naruto smiles, then charges, throwing punches and kicks, but eventually things start to go south, as even with Naruto's power he couldn't handle both Itachi and Kisame. Really, Naruto-kun, is this the power of the Rinnegan? Itachi asks, disappointed. Its more deadly attacks would destroy the entire town. Oh really kid, prove it. Kisame roars, charges. Naruto holds out his hands and whispers, almighty push. Kisame goes flying backwards, then Naruto starts running in at Itachi, but then Kisame gets back up and swings at Naruto, but then Itachi says, it's been a while, Sasuke. Well, the Sharingan, and he looks a lot like you. Kisame says. Itachi, who is this kid? He's my younger brother. That's strange, cause the way I heard it the whole Uchiha clan was wiped out. By you. Itachi Uchiha. I hope you're ready to die. Sasuke says, and then Sasuke and Itachi opened their eyes to reveal fully matured Sharingan. It's just as you said, brother, I've fostered my hatred for you all this time, I've lived for one single purpose, to see you die. Sasuke roars as he charges Chidori to his hand. It ends here. Chidori. Itachi says to himself, enough, you, re-dead. Sasuke charges forward, trailing Chidori along the wall, destroying it as he passes by, and just as he gets close enough he holds out his hand preparing to run his brother through, but Itachi grabs the offending hand and brushes it off, destroying the wall next to him. Just then Mikuru walks out rubbing his eyes. What's a guy go to do to get some sleep around here? Mikuru complains. Kisame killed the newcomer. Itachi says. As Kisame swings his sword to kill Mikuru, a plume of smoke erupts in front of him and the clang of metal striking metal rings out. What the? Kisame says. When the smoke clears, a toad with armored armbands stands in the way of the attack. You two clearly don't know me very well. A third voice calls out and Jiraiya appears behind Mikuru. Should have done your homework. Jiraiya, the toad sage falls for no woman's charm. Rare beauties drop for me like blooms in a storm. It isn't in my nature to be doped by the wiles of women. When you've reached the stature I have, the ladies kneel and worship at your awesomeness. I can't believe I lost to this guy. Naruto thinks, this is one of legendary Sannin. Mikuru thinks, I can't believe this guy taught the fourth Hokage. Sasuke thinks, ah, don't give me that one wink from a pretty girl and you turn into a pile of mush. Naruto shouts, you fell for it like a pile of bricks, Rossennin. Jiraiya rubs the back of his head. I really wish you wouldn't call me that in front of other people. Are you kidding me? We've got bigger things to worry about than what these guys think of. You get with it, Rossennin. Damn it, I just asked you to call me that. Whatever name you go by, Master Jiraiya, I must say you're something of a disappointment. A lecherous old man with the disposition of a child. It's hard to believe that you are one of the legendary Sannin. Tell me about it. Mikuru says under his breath. Don't be deceived by appearances or anything that Naruto might say. So you somehow managed to release the genjutsu we placed on her. Kisame says. What kind of coward would do that? Using his Sharingan to cast an illusion jutsu on an innocent woman, all to separate Naruto from me. Yeah, too bad they underestimated me and uncle was here. Naruto says. I know that he's the one you're really after. Correct, Naruto is the prize that the Akatsuki is after, and we will have him. Itachi says. Over my dead body. Mikuru roars, that can be arranged. Kisame says, smiling. Yay, I could be if you just didn't lower your guard. Naruto smiles and he warps behind Kisame and jams a Rasengan into his back. Nice work, Naruto. Mikuru says as he smiles. This is all very convenient, I can eliminate both at the same time. Jiraiya says. Stay. Out of this. Sasuke says as he gets back up. The only one. Who is going to eliminate him is me. Of course, revenge. Jiraiya thinks. Go away. You don't interest me at the moment. Itachi says. Well, get interested. Sasuke charges but Itachi kicks him and he flies back into the wall. Sasuke. Naruto starts weaving hand signs for great fire annihilation. I don't care if this brings down the whole building, but he's dead. No, Naruto, don't butt in, mind your own business. Sasuke stops Naruto. I told you before. I've lived my whole life for this day, this moment. Sasuke gets back up. This fight is mine. Sasuke activates his deactivated Sharingan and charges Itachi with a punch, but Itachi blocks and backhands Sasuke, who goes flying back into the wall. Not finished. He can't even weave the hand sign. Itachi thinks, this fight is mine, so be it. Itachi says. Jiraiya steps forward to help, but Kisame stops him. You heard him, old man. This fight is none our business, let's let the two of them sort it out. Kisame says. Itachi walks over to Sasuke. Well, fight away. Sasuke roars but Itachi knees him in the stomach, then elbows him in the neck. How? After all these years, even with my added power, nothing has changed. How can it be? You show him no mercy. Kisame smiles, then Itachi lifts Sasuke into the air and holds him by the throat. You're still too weak, you don't have enough hatred. Itachi says, then whispers in Sasuke's ear. And you know something? You never will. Then Itachi uses Tsukuyomi on Sasuke. Ah! Sasuke shouts out in pain and fear. Isn't that heartwarming? Using Tsukuyomi on his own brother. You, re-dead. Naruto roars, then activates his own eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, then his Susanoo appears. Naruto, are you nuts? Jiraiya says as his eyes widen in fear, but then Naruto runs forward drawing his gun by. But Kisame follows him, and in quick succession Jiraiya makes series of hand signs: snake right pointing arrow, boar right pointing arrow, rat right pointing arrow, dragon right pointing arrow, boar right pointing arrow, dragon right pointing arrow, tiger right pointing arrow. Then he slams on both palms on ground, and the walls turn to a toad belly and Naruto gets stuck in place. Ninja art toad mouth trap. You've both just been swallowed by the mountain toad. Welcome my friends of the belly of the beast. He has a very sensitive digestive tract, so be careful not upset him. Not the most glorious way to die. It must be humbling to know you've just been reduced to toad bait. Jiraiya snickers. Motherfucker. Naruto roars out. Naruto, remain calm, trust in my jutsu. Kisame. Come. Itachi says. Kisame grabs the hilt of Samahata and tries to run off, only to find it stuck. Easier said than done, Kisame said. Then he manages to rip Samahata free, then runs after the fleeing Itachi. It's useless, the ninja hasn't been born who survived this powerful stomach. Jiraiya says as Itachi and Kisame round the corner. A wall of flesh shoots after them. Don't look now, but there's a wall of flesh coming after us. Kisame stops and slices at the flesh, stopping its progress, then continues after Itachi. It's too fast, we're not going to make it, it's no use. Itachi doesn't respond but opens his right eye, activating Amaterasu. Naruto and Jiraiya run around the corner to reveal an open hole in the wall with Amaterasu still alight around it. He did the impossible, he broke through the wall and these black flames, to burn the mountain toad when it has the power to breathe fire itself. That is strong jutsu. Pervy sage, don't touch those flames, it's Amaterasu, the most powerful fire style in existence, it will burn anything it touches to ash. Naruto says. Right. Jiraiya starts writing a sealing formula, and when he is finished he slams his palm onto the ground. Sealing jutsu. Fire seal. The charka from the seal channels around the fire and seals it into the scroll. Itachi and Kisame were fleeing. So we're just running away again, we seem to do a lot of that. Kisame says. There is no need to rush, we will capture Naruto when the time is right. Besides, I thought it wise to find a place to rest and recharge my powers. Itachi responds. On top of Tsukuyomi, to have to use Amaterasu on the same day, it was more exhausting than I thought. I also sense that Sasuke could have broken Tsukuyomi, so why didn't he? Itachi deactivated his Sharingan, as Jiraiya tied a rope around the scroll and finished it. That takes care of that now for Sasuke. Jiraiya says. Sasuke falls out from the wall and Naruto catches him. Damn it, Itachi, next time I see you, you're dead, or at the very least losing an arm. Naruto says. Jiraiya slams his foot on the ground, dispelling the jutsu. Just then a kunai strikes the all next to them, then they see a bull-haired figure running toward them. Dynamic entry. Guy roars out. Guy. Jiraiya says, confused. Then Guy's attack connects with Jiraiya, but then he realizes who he kicked. After Jiraiya put tissue in his nose and Mikuru walked around after talking to the manager downstairs, apologizing the damages and promising to pay for it. I guess I was a little overenthusiastic, I was in a hurry so I couldn't see very clearly. Guy says, rubbing the back of his head. Using my headband to peer into opening, all I could see was two sinister figures. You know something, Guy? If this is your way of apologizing, it stinks. I'm sorry, it was just a simple misunderstanding. Simple-minded is more like it, but never mind that, now we've got bigger problems to worry about. We need to get Sasuke to the medical corps at once. Right. He's badly beaten up, his arm is broken and he's been knocked out by whatever jutsu Itachi used on him. Tsukuyomi. Naruto says. What? Jiraiya asks. It's called Tsukuyomi, it's a power of the Mangekyo Sharingan. It's a genjutsu of unimaginable power. It locks the victim in a state that the user controls to torture the victim for 72 hours in that world while only a second passes in our world. Such a terrifying technique. I think the same was used on Kakashi when they visited looking for you. We don't know when he will come out of it. Guy says. He won't unless we get a master of supreme master of medical ninjutsu and fast. Sounds like we need Tsunade. Mikuru says, walking up to them from back downstairs. Well, that's who we're here to find. Jiraiya says. Fantastic, let's go then. Mikuru says. Guy takes Sasuke back to the medical corps while the three of us go after Tsunade Heim. Jiraiya says. Right. Guy then looks at Jiraiya. Jiraiya-sama, please bring back Tsunade Hime. Don't worry, we will. Naruto smiles. Guy grabs Sasuke and then runs off. Hey Jiraiya-sama, why are the Akatsuki after Naruto? Mikuru asks. They aren't after him, but the nine tails inside of him. Jiraiya responds. Kurama. Naruto interrupts, what? Mikuru asks. His name is Kurama and they are after him because they want to recreate the Jubi. Jiraiya sweet drops. Not even I know that. How on earth did you figure that out? Madara and Hashirama didn't just teach me techniques. How did Madara or Hashirama know? Madara's idea is what keeps the Akatsuki going, but it's my job to stop it. What is the Jubi? Mikuru asks. The Jubi is a beast of unimaginable power that they intend to use to cast an infinite Tsukuyomi off the surface of the moon. Supposedly that will bring peace, but I know it won't. Naruto looks at them somberly. But enough of that, we need to find Tsunade, and the next town is Tanzaku town, right? Yay. I've been there in my days as an Anbu. It's full of gambling places. We should be able to find Tsunade there. Mikuru says. I hope Tsunade-chan learned to manage money properly or she could be in a lot of trouble. Hashirama says, shaking his head. My guess is she hasn't. Madara responds. Then this will be fun. Kurama says. Why is that? Naruto asks. Because in her time she earned a very well-known nickname. Hashirama responds. And that was the legendary sucker. Oh boy. Naruto face palms. How do you know my granddaughter's nickname, Kurama? I was sealed in your wife, remember? Plus I was also sealed into Kushina, who knew Tsunade quite well. Anyway, Naruto, we're here, so why don't you and Mikuru go off and bond? I will look for Tsunade. Jiraiya says. Naruto and Mikuru nod and they both take out their wallets. Hang on. Jiraiya stops them. You both look like you have a lot of money. I've been on 27S rank, 15A rank, 9B rank, 3C rank and 30D rank missions as both a Junin and an Anbu, so I don't have every Ryo I've ever earned with me, but Naruto, I'm going to teach you about the 3 Shinobi prohibitions. The 3 Shinobi prohibitions? Naruto repeats, confused. Women, alcohol and money. Well, I'm not 20, so I don't have to worry about that. The only women I have interests in are Hinata-chan, Haku-chan, Ino-chan and Yugito-chan, and I'm not a pervert unlike Ero-senin here. And as for money, well, just like you, Oji-san, I don't have every penny I've ever owned, as most of it is in my bank account back in Konoha. Naruto, is your Oji-san, I want you hand me your wallet and I will cover your purchases so long as they aren't outrageous. Mikuru smiles at his little nephew. Alright Oji-san. Naruto hands his fox wallet that he found in his old room that his parents had bought for him and hands it to Mikuru. After a few hours of hanging around the fair later, Naruto and Mikuru head to a cliff above Tanzaku town and they start practicing with Kurama's chakra again. After a while Naruto stops with the training and Mikuru walks over to one of the gambling areas. Naruto, if you want to join I won't stop you, but if you want to wait outside I would recommend it. I think I want to join you Oji-san, so could I have my wallet? Don't worry, there's a small seal counter side that tells me the amount inside of it. Once it dips below 200,000 I'll stop. How much is in there? Mikuru is reprehensive. Quote, 250,000 Ryosa. I only intend to spend at the most 50,000, but if I've also place a second seal that activates when I enter a gambling establishment, it keeps track of my winnings and the original amount so I can make sure I don't go spending crazy. Oh, so you've limited your spending and found a way to keep track of it using seals, very nice. Mikuru smiles at his son. He's a true blue Uzumaki to have mastered seals to such a degree. Mikuru and Naruto walk in and the gambling embellishment. In his pride for his nephew, Mikuru failed to notice the high wager amount. Orochimaru started screaming in pain as his arm burned again. Lord Orochimaru, hurry your medicine. Orochimaru's doctor said in concern only for Orochimaru to kill him. Just then the door opened up and Kabuto walked in. My, I just got back and I already have to clean up. Kabuto says. My arms, the burning pain in my arms, I never suspected that it would hurt this much. Orochimaru says, a final curse from the late Sandaime. Shut up with your explanations. More importantly, have you found that person, like I asked? Yes, that person is currently in Tanzaku town. Tanzaku town. I see. But that person is one of the tree legendary Sannin. This won't be easy. The best medicines are usually the most bitter. Orochimaru smirks and starts laughing. The owners of the casino were crying anime tears and one said, "We just lost most if not all of the money that we won from the legendary sucker." "Did you just say the legendary sucker?" Naruto and Mikuru turn to the man who had just spoken. "Yay, why?" The man replies, "Was she here or have you seen her?" Mikuru asks, "That depends, are you willing to gamble for it?" "That depends, are you willing to lose everything because I won't be the one who will be gambling my little, devil's luck, boy here will." Mikuru indicates Naruto. That won't be necessary." The man says and hands the information over at the fear of losing even more money. Tsunade was sitting at a slot machine which had already spit out 177777. Shizune started chanting, the machine just spit out a second 7 and a few seconds later spit out a third 7. "Jackpot," Shizune says with glee. "I got 3 sevens. Tsunade thinks shocked. "I got 3 sevens. After about 10 minutes of playing she kept winning. After Tsunade had won enough to fill 5 bins she stood up and looked at Shizune with panic in her eyes. "Shizune, we're leaving, now." "But Tsunade-sama, you got so lucky, why should we leave?" Shizune asks. "That's exactly why we're leaving. I got lucky." Shizune's eyes widen in fear at what she said as she spelled it out. "Let's go," Shizune says quickly. Naruto and Mikuru were looking for the nearest concentration of lots of beautiful women when a loud rumbling caught their attention and the castle that they were looking at blew up and a gigantic snake emerged from the smoke. "Orochimaru," Naruto says with venom and runs off towards where the snakes had appeared. "Naruto, wait," Mikuru calls out running after his nephew. Jiraiya was sitting next to some very well-endowed women and laughing when he felt the trembling of the ground and someone ran past screaming about gigantic snakes. "Sorry ladies, but I have to dash, something has come up," Jiraiya says. "Ah, but we want to hear more of your stories," one of the women said. "Maybe some other time." Jiraiya runs out. "This is bad, if he said giant snakes then Naruto will be running after the sound to take revenge for the Sandaime, and if that happens Naruto will be killed." "Orochimaru, to what do I owe the displeasure?" Tsunade sneered. "Come Tsunade, is that any way to treat an old friend?" Orochimaru asks, mocking hurt. "What do you want?" Orochimaru unwraps the bandages by way of biting at the bandages, revealing his purpled arms, and Tsunade gasps at the sight. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.